The woods are supposed to be peaceful. A place where the noise of the world fades. Where wind replaces traffic. Where you can hear your own thoughts. But sometimes, the silence isn't empty. Sometimes it listens. Sometimes it follows. Because deep in the forest, where the trees grow too close, and the light never fully reaches the ground, there are things that don't want to be seen. And if you wander off trail, if you stop for too long, you might feel them watching. These are 3 horrifying true stories from people who thought they were alone in the woods. They weren't. The stranger and the treeling. Matt wasn't new to the woods. He grew up in Oregon, knew how to pitch a tent, read a compass, and pack for snow. So when he took a solo camping trip one October weekend, he wasn't nervous. Just eager to unplug. He hiked 6 miles off any marked trail, through a thick fir grove. Until he found the perfect spot, a flat patch of moss surrounded by pines. Remote. Quiet. Too quiet. That first night, everything felt normal. Until the sun dipped behind the trees. The air dropped fast. Not just cold, still. Like something had pressed pause on the world. And that's when he heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Circling the tent. He froze, listening. "Hello?" he called out. No answer. Just a crunch, then nothing. When he finally worked up the nerve, he unzipped the flap and swept his flashlight. Empty trees. Empty trail. No wind. No sound. He told himself it was an animal. Maybe a deer. But the next morning, he found something. A single boot print in the frost. Facing the tent. Perfectly clear. Not his size. And here's the part that stuck with him. No other prints led to it. Just one, alone in the moss. Like something appeared, stood there. And vanished. That second night, Matt couldn't sleep. He told himself he was overthinking. That the print was old, or his imagination. But the forest didn't feel empty anymore. At 1:17 a.m., he heard it again. Crunch. Pause. Crunch. Closer this time. Then a long silence. Then breathing. Not heavy. Not rushed. Just calm, controlled, like someone waiting right outside. Matt didn't move. Didn't unzip the tent. He just listened. And then, a soft exhale. Right behind the nylon. Like someone leaning in. When he finally did look, his flashlight caught movement between the trees. Not an animal. A figure. Too tall. Too still. It stepped behind a trunk. But didn't come out the other side. Matt backed into his tent, zipped it, and stayed awake till dawn. When morning came, he packed everything without eating. Without checking the trail. Without even putting his boots on properly. And he never camped alone again. He still tells the story. But here's what he won't say out loud anymore. That the breath he heard matched his own. Like something was standing beside the tent. Mimicking it. Breathing when he breathed. Stopping when he did. Listening. The cabin in the pines. They didn't plan to find it. It was supposed to be just a weekend hike, 4 friends, 1 trail, and no distractions. Jake, Mariah, Derek, and Lila. They were hiking the Appalachian backwoods, 2 hours off the main loop. When Derek spotted something through the trees. A roof. Old wood. Collapsed chimney? No path led to it, just thick brush and a steep slope. Of course they checked it out. A cabin. The kind that shouldn't still be standing. Windows broken. Door half-hinged. But inside, everything was clean. Not modern. But not decayed. Chairs around a table. Unlit oil lanterns. Dusty but intact. And on the wall, by the stairs, a Polaroid photo. Someone they didn't recognize. Staring directly at the camera. Expressionless. They assumed it was some hunter's shelter. Maybe a prepper. They left quickly. Took a few photos. Laughed it off. But Mariah swears, as she stepped out of the cabin, She saw the photo blink. That night, they made camp just a short hike from the cabin. Safe distance. Or so they thought. The forest felt heavier after sunset. No bugs. No wind. No birdsong. Just a low, distant ticking, like something metallic, echoing through the trees. They tried to sleep. But around 3 a.m., Lila sat bolt upright. She'd heard a door slam. Jake said she was dreaming, until they all heard footsteps. Not crunching leaves. Not twigs. Floorboards. Like someone pacing inside the cabin they had left behind. They didn't sleep after that. At sunrise, they hiked back to check. The cabin looked the same, except for one detail. The Polaroid was gone. In its place? A new one, fresh, glossy, and taped in the exact same spot. It showed Jake. Sleeping. In his tent. From outside the tent. That was it. They didn't grab their gear. They didn't eat. They just ran. The trail back felt wrong. Twisted. Twice as long. Their phones didn't work until they hit the main road 6 hours later. They told a park ranger everything. He listened without blinking. Then asked, "Was it a single-story cabin with a stone chimney?" They nodded. His reply? "That cabin burned down 25 years ago. We've been trying to keep people from wandering into that part of the forest." He didn't ask to see the photo. He didn't want to. Something buried in the ice. It was supposed to be a standard search and rescue. Northern Alberta. A solo hiker named Chris had gone missing after texting a photo of snow-covered pines to his brother. Then, radio silence. A 5-person volunteer team went out that night. The snow was coming down hard. Visibility was low. They found Chris's pack by a tree, soaked through but zipped shut. Next to it, his GPS still on. Still tracking. His footprints led deeper into the woods, straight toward a clearing none of them recognized. There, in the middle of the trees, was a frozen pond. Perfectly still. Perfectly round. No animal tracks. No branches. No debris. Just a flat, glassy sheet of ice. With something beneath it. At first they thought it was a shadow. But as they got closer, they saw fingers. A hand pressed up against the ice, spread wide, just under the surface. Not reaching. Not moving. Just watching. Then one of them tapped the ice with their boot. And the hand tapped back. They didn't run. Not at first. They stood there, 5 trained responders, frozen. Because after the hand tapped back, the ice began to darken. Not crack. Not melt. Darken. Like something was shifting underneath it. Moving slowly. The lead rescuer, Tom, radioed base. But all they got was static. Then a voice. Barely audible, like it was underwater. "Don't dig. Don't dig. Don't dig." But no one had said anything. Not on their team. And the radios were turned off. That night, back at their mobile base, they tried to sleep. But the walkie-talkies turned on by themselves. Every single one. All broadcasting the same low whisper. "Still here. Still watching." The next morning, they went back. But the clearing was gone. No pond. No ice. Just snow. Untouched. And where Chris's pack had been the day before? A small wooden cross. No name. No date. Just carved initials burned into the wood. They filed the report, but nothing ever came of it. No body. No evidence. Just 5 search and rescue workers who refused to talk about that call anymore. Except for Tom. And when he does, his voice always drops when he says the same thing. The ice wasn't holding something in, it was holding it down. The woods are quiet. But not because they're empty. They're quiet because something is listening. Something that waits between the trees. Something that doesn't want to be found. Until you're too far in to turn back. People go into the forest for peace. For silence. To get away from everything. But silence isn't always safety. Sometimes it means you're already being watched. Sometimes it means you've wandered off the map. And sometimes it means something else is out there that doesn't want you to leave. The people in these stories went into the woods with good intentions. They came back changed. Some never came back at all. So if you ever feel like the trees are watching, if you find a cabin that shouldn't be there, if something taps from beneath the ice, don't follow. Don't look back. And whatever you do, don't stay for a second night.